On March 27th, 2018, LiAngelo Ball scored 72 points in a professional game in Lithuania. 8 months later, in just November of that year, Jello left Europe and never played another pro game ever again. Similarly, 2 years before this moment, Jello enjoyed his first career 72-point game over at Chino Hills. I remember everybody writing this viral high school team off as just a performance. These guys were simply entertainers that were more so internet stars than they were basketball stars. But now, Lonzo's a top-tier point guard. LaMelo just won Rookie of the Year, and the team's center, Onyeka Okongwu, is also now an NBA player with a bright future ahead of him. Chino Hills has proven to the world that they were all for real, but they left one man behind. How come LiAngelo Ball, the leading scorer of this group, never amounted to anything? Like, for real, actually nothing. Maybe the NBA is a high bar, but how about the G League? Well, he signed with the Oklahoma City Blue and never played a game for them. Okay, what about Europe? Nope, 0 opportunities opened up ever since he left Lithuania 3 years ago. Okay, how about China? Let's not forget that he stole sunglasses there and was also locked up over in China. The Philippines? Australia? How about he joins J. Cole in Rwanda? No? New Zealand? His local YMCA? Fucking Greenland? Okay, the Vatican City. Okay. How's this? A league specifically invented around him by his own father for him to succeed since he can't do it anywhere else? There we go. Finally, we've lowered the bar enough for this man to succeed. And the fact that I'm only kinda sorta half joking is really sad. Today, let's break down what went wrong with LiAngelo Ball and why everybody in his circle made it except for him. Also, we'll be diving into this viral new video that Slam Magazine recently released that updated us NBA fans on where Jello has been. But before we jump into it, be sure to subscribe to the channel. It really helps out smaller creators like myself, and it literally only takes about 1 second of your time. And with that, let's jump straight into this. To understand where LiAngelo is now, we have to first remember where he once was. Ball averaged 30.3 points per game over the course of his 2 seasons on varsity at Chino Hills. Only his shooting splits as a junior are publicly available, and they are at least somewhat better than what I expected. Ball shot 58% on 2s, 36% on 3s, and 70% from behind the line. Not great, but not terrible, especially with all the performative shenanigans that went down at Chino Hills. I expected these numbers to be a lot more cancerous to the eyes. But how did Jello get these shots? Well, Chino Hills was notorious for their cherry-picking tendencies, and both LiAngelo and LaMelo were the 2 players who tried to pull this stunt off the most. That's definitely going to inflate their shooting numbers, but the issue is bigger than this. At Chino Hills, LiAngelo Ball always gave off a big presence. Many described him as a stretch 4, but it turns out that he's actually the shortest Ball brother. At only 6'5", Jello mainly came across as the biggest ball bro in high school because, how do I put this? My man's was pretty fat. He had a stocky frame that also meant he wasn't as quick or athletic as his brothers, who simply play the game a lot smoother than Jello. To him, on the other hand, he is not smooth at all. He dribbles the basketball like this.
My mindset is really been the same the whole.
Now, I don't know about you, but does this remind you of anyone? If you only look at the scoring, you may miss Jello's other, less impressive numbers. The 30 points a game is great, but is the 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, and oh yeah, 0.1 blocks per game anything to gawk at? No. Not even at a high school level could Jello provide anything but points. That's very concerning to scouts at the higher levels, who wondered if Ball could be able to accept a smaller role on a team if he were to ever make the NBA by some random miracle. miracle. I mean, if you can't pass, defend, rebound, run, or jump, and you're undersized, then obviously you're not gonna be the #1 guy on a freaking NBA team. But LiAngelo has only ever been the #1 guy on every team he's ever been on. At first, people had questions if Ball could handle not being treated like Michael freaking Jordan. But over time, we very quickly got our answer. Because really, what has LiAngelo Ball done ever since going undrafted in 2018 that proves to anyone that A, he's humble enough to accept a smaller role on a team, and B, determined enough to actually work for a shot in the pros? Because since going undrafted, he's joined the JBA, a stupid league run by his own dad, really as just a publicity stunt. It had zero pro-level competition. He also was in the Drew League, where he was supposed to play on a team coached by his father with Lonzo in attendance, but he was nowhere to be found once the game actually started. And outside of that, he says that he's constantly doing hardcore NBA workouts, and that's really all we ever get from this guy.
In terms of like your journey right now and how things are going with you,
I've just been working out behind the scenes for real.
Good, man.
I've been in Compton every day.
Good, man. So. Getting right?
Yeah, getting right.
Already know. Like I said, I was about to say, waiting on the chance, right? At this point.
Just waiting for real.
Yeah.
You know what? Hey, let's take his word on that and see just how Jello has progressed after all these years. Recently, the NBA World was given this new video by Slam Magazine where they interview LiAngelo Ball and have him explain where he's been. Take a look.
I had the 3-point play zone. Get some workout in, man. Me and Lon about to work out. So about to just watch. Man, my mindset is really been the same the whole time. Like every time I step on the court, I'm trying to kill. Like it don't matter who's out there really. Like I played against NBA dudes, I played against college, overseas, everybody you can imagine. Even rec center dudes, I'm going hard every time. I just had that attitude, I guess.
Okay, so this guy is really hyping up these quote-unquote hardcore NBA level workout routines he's been doing. He's doubled down on it twice now, so let's actually take a look at these insane training sessions, shall we? Okay, these are not as impressive as he hyped them up to be. His dribbling is still messy, and his shooting form is exactly the same. Sure, this form worked in high school, but so did Lonzo's. Any jump shot can fly in high school, but Jello's flat, Sean Marion-esque jumper is so clunky, amateur, and easy to block. How have you not considered any of this? The only part of this update video where you can really see any improvements to LiAngelo's game are the first few frames, where Jello pops up on screen looking a lot slimmer than his older self. This initial hype you may feel from these first few seconds is then immediately shattered by the fact that he starts doing push-ups in the middle of his house, and like, these are some really bad looking push-ups? I don't know. For the rest of this Slam Magazine video, Jello gives us a tour around his house, and man, most perennial all-stars don't have cribs like this. It's interesting seeing a player make a ton of money before his come up. It's a dynamic that most rising stars don't have to deal with, and it could serve as a major distraction for Jello. In sports, the riches and glamour and glory are supposed to serve as a reward for defying the odds and becoming a great athlete, but Jello has his foot planted on square one of his NBA journey, and already has everything he could ever ask for out of life. I mean, when you already have everything, why work for anything more? There's a reason you hear so many inspiring rags to riches stories in the NBA, and Ball is exactly the opposite of that. So can LiAngelo Ball actually become a real NBA player? Y'all already know the answer. It's a fat no. Rumors have spread of him meeting with the Hornets, and I'm not even gonna entertain those. He hasn't played a real game of ball in 3 years, let's be real with ourselves. With that being said though, I do wish the best for him. I think he could be a G League player, or at least have some sort of pro basketball career. I mean, with how Lonzo and LaMelo have taken over the NBA, it's especially apparent that he has the genes to be at least something. And that is where we are going to conclude this video. Be sure to subscribe if you enjoyed it. As a smaller creator, I truly do appreciate each and every one of my subscribers, and I genuinely do think that you will enjoy my future videos if you made it this far far into this one. Also, be sure to follow my Twitter, that is @Kagastomus, and with that, stay safe out there.